What can sex do for your mental health?
When you think about sex and the importance of sex to the human function, you will understand what it does to the mental health of the individual. First and foremost, sex is a natural act between any species, but for human beings, it's something that is very pleasurable. So, because it's associated with pleasure, it gives you a sense of euphoria. It helps to generate a sense of well-being within yourself. The brain releases different types of chemicals. There is a feeling of emotional and physical attachment to the person you're having sex with. So there's many facets of sex and mental health. Now for a woman, she may require sex more often than the man is capable of doing it. And for the man, sometimes it's the very same thing, vice versa. But what do? First and foremost, if you think about it, we as human beings, we masturbate for the pleasure of sex. So it's not the same thing as having physical sex with someone, but it is actually creating pleasure within the body, within the brain. When you actually have sex, what you're doing is you're connecting with someone, there's a chemistry, there is an attachment to the person at that moment. The focus is on the individual and the action that is taking place. So it requires a bit of concentration. Now that concentration engages the brain, but the physical part of it engages sight, smelling, tasting, touching, imagination. All these things come into sexual play. For any individual, once you engage the five senses and you're able to conjure up images in your mind of euphoria, feeling good with the person, you are going to feel better mentally. Depression becomes a thing of the past because you're in the moment. So a person who is depressed, and that's a mental state, if you're depressed, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you are unsure about how you feel about things in general, and you engage in a good sexual encounter with a partner, you'll realize that things changes within you. You feel good about yourself. Your self-esteem increases. You have a smile on your face. You'll find that many individuals, whether it be male or female, sometimes we want to blame the female for this, but many individuals, whether it be male or female, when they engage in sexual intercourse, what happens with them is that they behave differently thereafter until they have sex again. So if they're having sex rapidly over a period of time, you'll find that their disposition and those things change. They become a happier individual. Again, that's a mental state. For persons who do not engage in anything sexual by choice or otherwise, you'll find that they're different mentally and physically when they're interacting with individuals. Sometimes they're bitter, sometimes they're dispassionate, sometimes they're angry. So mental health and sexual satisfaction is something that is very important to understand. And it's part and parcel of what makes us human. As human beings, when we get that release sexually through an orgasm, ejaculation, or whatever it may be, you find that you become a better individual. Even if it's for a fleeting moment, you're happier. Sex brings happiness. We're not talking about the perversion of sex and all the different deviant things that you can do with sex. We're just talking about good old natural sex. So when someone engages in a sexual tryst with a partner, what happens with them is that their whole disposition, their mental attitude, their behavior, the physical attribute changes. Think about how radiant a woman looks when she's having sex. Or a guy. Some guys you can actually tell because the radiance is there. And you can tell that they're in love with somebody or that they're connecting with somebody physically, and that is something that is very important. So yes, sex has a positive influence on mental health. It has a positive influence on individuals, and it's something that you should engage in.